Boom! Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Still the best beard on YouTube. Isn't it kind of comical when you see dudes that can't grow beards, but they try to grow beards and they have like pubic hairs on their face and all the girls make fun of them and they look at guys like me? Isn't that comical? Maybe subliminal messages. Some people will get that. All right. Dropping 10 more up and coming college risers for the 2025 NFL draft. And today is Monday, September 30th at 13:42 hours. And we have 300. We have dropped 300 prospects. I feel like the movie, The 300. This is Sparta. Like to see how many else all the other half-ass YouTube draft dudes, how many people they've dropped. I've dropped 300 already, and there'll be at least another 300 more by come the NFL draft. Even though 600 guys are not getting drafted, but they will make practice squads and they will make the other, you know, you got the XFL, USFL, Lingerie League, you got the Canadian League, and also you're going to see a lot of these names also sticking on practice squads. Because, like I say, year after year, when you look at practice squads, there's a lot of small school players. But I'm not really giving you many small school players today. I'm just throwing out 10 guys that are up and coming. This first kid, he's either one or two in the safety rankings. It's how you view and how you like your safeties. He's been injured for the last couple of weeks, and Penn State is being very quiet with his injury. His name is Kevin Winston, 6'2", 210, prototypical safety size, and he's playing in the Big Ten. Last year, he led Penn State in tackles. That's also a bad sign that your defense sucks. But he's playing much closer to the ball. And in my opinion, he's better in the box, but he's not a liability in pass coverage. And he has the frame to, when he's 6'2", 210, he has the frame to come up and lay the pipe. Before he got hurt this year, he's missed the last two games. He's only played like two, and he had 13 tackles and one forced fumble. But this kid is very, very aggressive. So if you're one of the 32 NFL teams that needs a safety to come up, especially a safety that's good in the box, he is a name for you to watch out for. But Penn State is being very secretive with his injury, what it is. And I mean, if he misses like maybe the rest of the season, will he come out? Will he go back? We don't know. But they're being very secretive. But they can get away with that in college. Next kid, ironically, is another safety, Kamari Ramsey from USC. He's on the smaller side. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds, has like 12 tackles, one forced fumble, one pass defense this year. The way he can improve his draft stock right now, I consider he's like a late day 3 guy to me right now. But he is improving. But the way he can improve his stock is by now, because USC is playing in the Big Ten, and we all know. In my opinion, in no particular order, the 3 best conferences is the SEC, ACC, and the Big Ten. Now he's playing in a very physical style brand of football. That's how he can make his rise on his draft stock. Even if this kid's not drafted, he will stick around on somebody's practice squad. See if he gets, see if he gets a shot. Another kid nobody's talking about, UCF, University of Central Florida, R.J. Harvey, running back. Last year, 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns. Last year. So far this year, this kid's 5'9", 210, so he has good size. This year so far, he has 75 carries for 550 yards and 8 touchdowns. Yet no one's talking to him. And no one's talking about him. And how many times have I said this? This year's running back class is loaded with running backs. And if you take a running back in the first round, you're a fool. You're a fool. I see maybe 1 to 2 maybe going late in the first round. I see the first round being very heavy defensive tackle, edge, linebackers, and a few offensive tackles, maybe like 3 to 4 offensive tackles. But listen, I get it. You got to stick to your board. And if your board is washed and this person is the best running back on the board, he most likely is not going to make it. You're picking at the end of the first round, he's not going to make it back to you. So I can see 2 running backs going late first round, but I don't see no running backs going in early round 1. I'm sorry, I don't see that. Next kid, what a name. Jihad Campbell, Alabama. This kid got 6 size for a linebacker. 6'3", 244. 2-year starter. This year he has 20 tackles already and 1 interception. 6'3", 244. Sugar-free cranberry juice for the people that pay attention. I know in the last few years, the NFL has gone with smaller linebackers. But in my opinion, out of my 3 linebackers, I want at least 1 monster. Because you have to realize, when you have these 220-pound linebackers and they start camp off in August at 220, what do you really think they're weighing come week 17? Oh, tired today, I don't know why. What do you think they're weighing week 17, and if you're lucky enough to get into the playoffs, week 18, 19, 20, etc.? I like 1 big monster run stuffer to take on the guards if your defensive tackles are bad. So he has prototypical size that I like. I'm not saying that's who everybody likes. That's who I like. Next kid, he's a wide receiver out of Maryland, Tai Felton. I did a video on his partner back in the summertime with Kadon Patron. I did a video on his other wide receiver in the summer. But this kid, he has 46 catches, 5 touchdowns, and 650 yards. And he's a wide receiver too, this kid. So he's flying. He will fly up the boards. I'm trying to think. Who does Maryland play this week? They just played somebody this past week. I think they might have played James Madison or Indiana. I'm not sure. I know Indiana plays Northwestern this week. We'll be back with that later on in the week on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Next kid, he's a safety too. South Carolina. I don't know why we have so many safeties today. I'm trying to fix this hat. Boom. These names, bro. Some of these names butcher me. Nick Amenoria. Great size, bro. 6'3", 227. 26 tackles, 1 interception for the league. Now, there's a kid that some coach is going to be sitting in his draft room. Excuse me. Some coach is going to be sitting in his office, and he's going to look at this kid and he's going to say, 6'3", 227. Let's throw 10 pounds on him and put him in the linebacker. Because he's not afraid to come up and lay the pipe, this kid. He's not. And he's also not a liability in the passing downs. So you have the flexibility that he can coverage. And let's be honest, 227, he's the size of a lot of linebackers in the NFL at 227. Now you throw 10 pounds on that kid, it's 10 pounds is not going to affect his quickness and speed. It's not. There's going to be some coach sitting in his room like me with a stinking cap on and saying, yo, I can put 10 pounds on this kid and we can play him at linebacker. He's a name to watch out for. Next kid, Josiah Stewart, edge, Michigan. I said at the beginning of the year, I know Texas laid a beating on him, but that's more of like their offensive just couldn't do nothing. This kid is an edge. He's out of New York, no less, the Bronx, the boogie down Bronx. So you know he's tough. 6'1", 245. He has 10 tackles and 5 sacks with a forced fumble on the year. How I look at him is he more of an outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense? Or is he a third down pass rusher? Because I don't see him at that size in the NFL being a full-time edge. Could he be playing for a team like Pittsburgh, the Ravens, teams that run a 3-4 or teams that run variations? Absolutely, because he has the size, the strength, and the speed. Next kid is a kid, Renee Conga from Louisville. He's a Rutgers transfer, 6'4", 290. He's a 3-tech. Listen, he's not flashy. I also think you could put weight on this kid and slide him over to 1-tech. I think he has 1/3-tech versatility. And like, I just don't see it where dudes, they don't want to think outside the box. And when they look at a kid, they just pencil him in at one position. I don't see it. One of the all-time best defensive linemen ever to play the game, Randy White from the Dallas Cowboys, was a linebacker in college. Linebacker for the University of Maryland. He didn't pan out. Tom Landry puts him to defensive tackle. He's probably top 5 defensive tackles to ever play the game. Definitely top 10 to ever play the game. The man stuff. Bro, I've seen him catch wide receivers that had a 30-yard head start from behind. And I'm not making this shit up, excuse my language. You just go to YouTube and find it. And he was mean and he was nasty. But this is just also of a coach thinking outside the box. How many of you people ever heard of Lawrence Taylor, played for the Giants? You do know he started out at nose guard at North Carolina, right? You do know that, right? Don't be afraid to switch people's positions, coaches. But that's my 2 cents. Next kid. His kid has cornerback safety flexibility from Iowa. Jamari Harris. He's 6'1", 189. So if he wants to have more flexibility at safety, he has to get bigger, especially for that frame. But so far for the year, he has 6 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 5 passes defensed. So this kid is getting looks, this kid. So, and like I've said a million times on this channel, when you can do more than one thing and you have position flexibility, you're gonna get drafted. And he's 6'1", 190. He's like right in that sweet spot. I don't like my safeties. I don't like my corners being 6'4". They just look awkward. That's just me. Next kid, Tyler Barron, the U. 6'5", 260, 5 sacks on the season with 15 tackles. This kid went from being, he's a Tennessee transfer. This kid went from being a late day 3 prospect that if he keeps this up, you're going to hear his name. If he keeps his production up, you're going to see his name probably at the end of the first round. You guys think this easy. It's so not. I'm just joking. This ain't work. Watching football is not work. Not if you've ever had a real job. And I even put out videos on holidays because this isn't real job. Unlike other people who take holidays off, but that just shows you they never had a real job in their life. So, like I said, 300 players down so far. And I probably got at least 200 to 300 more to go. It's easy picking the first round. Anybody could do that. Any half-a-tard could do that. But when you can get your starters, let's be honest, the majority of NFL rosters are made up of 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th round players. Let's be honest. And a lot of undrafted free agents. So we're at 300 so far and expect at least another 250 to 300 by the time we get to draft season because we got a hell of a lot more weeks of college football. Today's Monday. Drop 2 videos. Tomorrow I'll cook up something. Like I said, it's still early and I don't want to knock people for having down seasons yet because we're only 4 games in and I can't knock people for having a down year, even though there's a running back from North Carolina that's having a down year. But last year he blew up, so there's a lot of reasons. Does he have a nick? Is he nicked up? Is his offensive line totally trash? So I don't want to just, badmouth kids so early in the season. I'll wait to the end of the season. I'll cook something up tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Wednesday is fantasy football Wednesdays. And we'll have more college players on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll go over. There's 4 games Friday night. Nothing really, really crazy. And then there's like 4 games I like on Saturday, which you're going to have to look at Danny Savage Draft Guru on Twitter if you like them. So we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Over and out, people, and Mondays suck.